Hello YouTube, we're back. Today's video is against Mihawk. Um, I did go back to my standard list towards the end of my little grinding that I've been doing so far. So some of these games I'll be on the one Borsellino for that Rosie, and then some I'll just be on the three Rosie. I think the Borsellino's fine, but I've decided for now to go back to my standard because it was clunking up, and I think even in the first replay I'm going to show you, you'll see the fact that it ended up being a Borsellino was uh instead of a Rosie it actually ended up costing me a card, I think. I don't know. But we'll look at it. Yeah, so back to the standard list. Some lists of those games will have Borsa, like I said. Um I actually have 5 games to show today. It's quite a few. Mihawk on the starter deck ladder. Been struggling to find other decks besides Kuzan and Mihawk. But still trying to find Yellow Kid and Red Green Luffy, and if anything else pops up that's worth showing. Um, and I'm still like, it's possible I'll re-show all this stuff, not anytime too soon, but just later down the line once the meta gets more established, lists get better, and I learn the matchups a bit better. Um, yeah, so 5 games, so we're gonna try to speed through them. Might speed it up a little bit. Uh, Game one. I think we definitely want first the Mihawk. This is definitely a keep. We have Promo and Kobe. Yeah, let me speed it up. So, yeah, right away, I in this game. So I have 2 targets, obviously. I don't really need more 2K, so I take my one of Borsa because it could be pretty good in this matchup in theory. But if this is a Rosie, then I have another card to help me find Rosie Law, like it would normally be, and it wouldn't cost me a card like the Suru does. So yeah, you end up seeing like next turn I play Suru, I find the Rosie Law, but I have to trash a card. Whereas if I just added the Rosie, assuming that was Rosie, and played and searched the Rosie that way, it would have been, you know, I wouldn't have had to lose a card for no reason, right? So we just go 5. We want to search because we do need to, even if we do, assuming none of that's even true, you still just play Sue in these spots, right? Even though you're trashing a card, finding the Rosie Law gets that card back and some a lot of the time, so it's still worth it. Bottom deck some good cards, but definitely have to get the Rosie Law. Get rid of the 2K because we want the rest of the cards in our hand at some point. The Wano build. Having all these winnies is really good for this, of course. Clean these up so you can't just freely do it without having to waste a swing. And then honestly, I don't necessarily need to play this Rosie Searcher. I already have, like, the only thing I would want to find with it, to be honest, like 2K Law would be fine, but like probably a Rip Law would be really good. Um, but once he takes, I'm just down to put him to 2. So this is probably a misplay. He's probably just supposed to rest the Piranha with his leader effect. But he does rest that, so now we're just gonna Sokka for sure. And then 5, 6. This Odin card is really annoying for our deck, telling us we don't get to free block. It makes so they actually have pressure on us, whereas normally we'd still be at 3 here and chilling, right? We actually have to start countering some at some point because of this Odin. Just makes the game a little bit faster. Definitely annoying. Grabs the Rad Beam. Swings 5. I'm just gonna free block because I mean I do want him to turn this Odin because I have another Sokka. Another Samurai. It's infinite cards. 8, we'll just take. Here, definitely like consider soccering this, but I also have two 8Ks to swing at it. So, it could be better to save the Sokka. And, just play like Borsalino plus blocker or something. If you have to save it from that 8, then I'd just like swing Kobe at a weenie, play over the Kobe. Or play with the Suru, where it's probably safer. And just go 5 at it or whatever. Probably play over the Suru. But then once he lets it die, we should just swing the Kobe at a weenie and play over it. And then just go like 5 at life. I don't think we should waste our leader swing on one of them. I believe we still have Sokka effects. Another thing here, I'm not used to Borsalino, so I didn't think about it at the time, but what I should do, I shouldn't get the Rested Dawn, right? That way I could still leader effect, go back to 8, and get the active Dawn from Borsa, so I could play promo and still float one. Or just float 3, or like attach a Dawn or whatever, right? But or play Kobe, or like literally anything. So I definitely wasn't supposed to get the Rested Dawn there. It's just a small, I say small misplay, but it is bad. Borsa effect. I also think in hindsight, it could have just been more correct to double develop. It's like Borsa plus Rosi Law this turn. I think it would have been a good turn to heal to make sure we have time to play Sokka next turn. I feel like that's just better than playing this Borsalino here. I don't really want to free block because I'm kind of down to chunk block. If he does go like leader effect and stun both of these, it's very annoying. She does. I think in another world where we played Rosi Law plus Boisa, we still get to keep one of those bodies here. Because we would have been 5 wide. So even if we do chunk block, we still have a body. And then we could actually Sokka this Mihawk and decent chance of it dying. Whereas now, if we Sokka the Mihawk, it probably doesn't even die. So it just makes this turn really awkward in a bunch of different ways. And then from here, you have options of what you want to do, though. Because I don't think you can Sokka the Mihawk, but you could Sokka this Law, swing at it. Okay, and I just want to play stage, find a stage and other stuff. Cycle. I think I want a Mama just to get another active Dawn with my Sokka. I think that makes sense. Let me just swing 5, float 3, -2 for Borsalino. Another awkward part about this Borsalino is it makes it very hard to go to 10 Dawn on the following turn. Because now if I slow right, I'm not gonna go to 10, I'll go to 9. And there's other examples as well, of course. This is like a good sign for me, right? He spent 2 Dawn to just filter. That means his hand isn't that good. Then he starts 6, so he gets punished by slow stuff, so that's really good for me. Then I get the free block. You're not really allowed to respect stuns, to be honest. Like, you're just not. Just gotta make him have it. So he tells me 2 of my bodies can't rest, because that's a cool mechanic that they decided was a fair thing in this game. Then he stuns the other 2. Again. It's just a great thing that's happening here. Big fan. Here, yeah, I think I just say fuck it. I'm killing this law with my 1 swing that I have. I don't even want cards. I need to make sure that it dies to relieve pressure. And then we're just gonna play Borsa floated on. But I think very awkward game, mainly actually because of the misplay that we made on the turn we played Borsalino. Even if playing Borsalino was the right play, we should have been able to double develop with a promo law. We still could have, to be fair, but we decided not to because he wouldn't have floated any Dawn, even though our hand didn't even have an I love you at the time, so like it was kind of flawed logic, but it was also like feel much more comfortable if I have a Dawn to bluff there at the very least, in case he tries to send it. So yeah, messing up that turn, I think just put us really behind in this game. Whether it was Borsa promo or Rosi Law Borsalino, I think either of those lines would have been fine, but definitely needed to double develop. Couldn't just play the Borsalino. And I still think the yeah, I should have just okay, no, yeah, because he wants to do that. And then he stuns again. So once again I don't get to swing. So that's really cool. So once again I say I will kill your Odin, I suppose. And play a body. I don't think there's a big point in Mamain. We don't really need the Dawn back. Doesn't do a whole lot. The Vorsta is getting value, to be fair. We're getting to block every turn, even though it gets getting stunned. But man's just curving out perfectly. You know, he saw his mid game into 2 Mihawks, into triple stun, into Beppo. It's definitely annoying. That 10, I definitely should have either chunk block or block 2-1. That was a mistake to just insta take. I just didn't even think about it. Just things like in a real game when I'm focused, I'd think about it, or like the more I play the matchup, it'll get more intuitive to just do that. But definitely a mistake to just take, because now I don't get to block 2-1 or do anything of the sort, right? So now I'm just taking to 0. We're not dead. He sends 10, but he's not dead either, so it's not even like good for us in that sense. Here, it's definitely honestly, we want to find double Borsa, which we do. It's just like 8-8 at life. I do make a mistake here, because double Borsa would be fine, but if I could find a Sokka before I swing this, like I should have cycled with stage first, basically. Just a big mistake that it's a small thing, but it's actually a big thing, because I do end up cycling and I find Sokka. And I'm down to Sokka Borsa here instead to get rid of one of these Mihawks, play a bigger body than just 2 Borsas, and get rid of one of these things that turns his shit into 2Ks and tells me I can't rest. So I definitely should have started stage. Then I could have started Sokka, and then this Mihawk probably dies. So that's like a bad mistake, especially if we're making after playing the deck this much. I'm not really allowed to attach Dawn, but again, I'm not fully focused when I play, so that's the main, like that's part of the reason. I've made quite a few mistakes this game. That's why we're watching. We get to do all these Mamas and all these Sakas to get the Don back. I should definitely be playing over Arrested Sokka, to be fair, as well. But it doesn't really end up mattering. But yeah, so I think this Mihawk should be dead. And that's actually like a big deal, right? We have to insta-block the 7, which is just no bueno, obviously. We 2-1. And then we're just dead to math. If that Mihawk is dead, though, I think... I'm not even entirely sure. I don't think it's worth doing the math, but it's just a misplay in general. But I think if that Mihawk is dead, we definitely live there and like probably kill him, right? Because then only one of these don't get the rest next turn. One is stunned. I guess he's not even necessarily dead. He has 2k, 3k if he just floats one. I don't know. Either way, it's a mistake though. So, but yeah, I think that game he saw like the nuts. Like, I would say, I don't know if he could draw better, to be honest. But we also made quite a few misplays, and I think the game was still like somewhat winnable. But yeah, so now going to the next one. Lose dice roll, go second. Oh no, we go first. He chose second. Interesting. That was a mulligan. Now we find Kobe plus promo. That's really good. Obviously. Find stage, because we always want stage, so we have 11 Dawn into the late game. And still need to find Rosi Law. Next turn is a definite swing 5, stage plus promo law angle. Because we're still looking for specifically promo law, and honestly 2k law and rip law would also be good to add. It's actually a Rosi over stage angle now. Want to get that search out of the way while we're still looking for in particular cards. I had 2k law because we really want one, but I think we also really want rip law, to be fair. So I'm not actually entirely sure yet which one's correct to add. But I go with the 2k. I think it might just be better to add the rip law, to be honest, but either way. Oh, I need to speed it up again. This one's not as long of a game. So it goes 8. We just take... Okay, so I decided to go 6. I feel like I could start stage, but I guess I wanted to draw off of Rosi Law. I think you could also argue to win 7 here, but technically he has a Dawn up. Any of the events he uses outside of that one that are 3k though, you'd be kind of happy for them to use to counter out of a 7. And that one's obviously not live. So like maybe it's better to just win 7 and we can play stage later. But either way. I will say this is ending up looking like a matchup where we really want Sakamama on 7. So we can deal with this combo. But obviously can't always have it. We're searching. Just didn't want to play Sokka here because it's my only one. If I had more Sokkas, I'd probably be down to just Sokka one of these for the defense and develop an 8k. But because it's my only one, I just decided I'd rather find a Rosi Law to play, and if I don't find a Rosi Law, I have the backup of just playing a Borsalino. Then here, once I find the Rosi Law, we're definitely playing it. So it's either 5-5-6 or 7-7. I don't really need to float Dawn this turn, I don't think. I think you definitely could. I think it's probably like smart to float Dawn this turn, but in order to get like max output on your swings, you can't. So I just wanted max output on my swings. It might not be worth it, to be honest. Maybe it's better to just go like another 6-6, keep 2k checking, and then float 2 Dawn for I love yous. Make use of this turn, because next turn is also probably going to be hard to float Dawn. But I definitely know I made the choice to swing 5-5-6, just to keep poking cards out of the Mihawk. We have so many 2Ks that it's like probably fine. We get 2 cards end of life. Now there's another Mihawk Odin because you know this deck always just draws the nuts. Deck is definitely more consistent than it used to be. To be fair, they have like infinite searchers and draw power, but goddamn, do they never miss anything? It feels like now. I'm gonna free block again. I refuse to respect stun events. I'll just make them use them. Because, you know, the faster they start using them, the faster they'll run out of them. Then from here, I'm thinking it's 6, 7 plus stun. So I counted the 6, plan to take the 7. Don't really need to go to 10. That card's going to help us a lot later. We get stunned, and then it's an instant Sokka. I think just go 5 at life. You don't necessarily need to go 6 to a body because he probably wants to counter 5 anyway, so we can just save Dawn. Stage the cycle, just because we're going to go to 9 anyway, so it's a free cycle. I think I was debating if I wanted to play Promo Law here, and it's probably reasonable, cause then we just float 1. But I think I'd also rather just float more Dawn for events. Again, trying to make use of these while we can. So here we get to see we're not getting stunned. That's really cool, you know. They don't just draw everything every time. They disrespect So again. I was reading it. So he actually gets to draw 1 trash one when we do that, but obviously he was going to do that anyway. And then from here, we don't actually have a 1K that we want to give. So at most, it's just 8 after anyway. So I just take, in case it does end up just being like a 6 or something. So I love you. Again, we're trying to use our Dawn while we can. Swing 2 at it, and then I actually decide, like, from here, his lead is a 7K, right? So I think I decided to just like poke 6 at the Odin. Okay, I just go 8 at both. I think that's also fine. But he doesn't really want to defend them, right? So there's like an argument to poke 6. Then we go 9 at the 7, and I'm just gonna play Borsa, float 2. He gives me infinite cards. It's really cool to see. 3 cards to save it. Now we know we basically just need to live another turn. So with that knowledge, just decide not to swing this law. We don't need to attach the Dawn to it and risk anything. DMG. He actually makes the weird play to rest the Dawn because he's scared of slow, I guess. I don't know if that's legal. I think he just has to put me on not having it. But I don't think it matters. I don't think this hand ever dies. He goes 10. I could counter, but I decided I'd rather just chump block. Not entirely sure if that's correct, but it's probably not a big deal either way. And then once he does this, it's just 10-12. He wanted to go 10-12 instead of 11-11. I just take because obviously he's dead. We can just counter the 12. So yeah, I mean we got lucky. I think he only saw 1 stun event, but that's the thing. This deck has to draw like it's very consistent, but there's so many. That's the thing with green in general. They can always see some of the pieces they need, right? They have a lot of search power now and draw power, but the problem is they need to see so much. Like that other guy saw, right? 3 stuns plus all his perfect curve plus counter. This guy saw perfect curve, but only 1 stun. So very good for me. Whose dice roll goes second? I decided to keep this hand because I think Riplaw is really good and decent chance it'll be live on 4. Whether it'll be live if they take 5 or if they just Wano event right away on 3. which is definitely a possibility. We have one target, so we take the Borsa. Five. Plays that. He still has the trash one, so it's not live yet. But he does have the event, so now it is live. So now we get the Ripplaw. 2 of the weenie. And because he doesn't have any other weenies and no stage, I decided to hit the other weenie. I think you could probably make an argument for either, but I think I do like hitting the weenie there. And he doesn't want to rest the Odin, which is probably smart, to be honest, so he just wins 5. I do Mama. It's just like a kind of a greedy Mama, to be honest. I didn't have the Rosi, right? No. Don't really, I mean, I could just 2k. I don't know. Kind of, we'll pay attention to how this game plays out if we regret using that Mama. Don't really have a reason to play the Rosi right now. We'll just be looking for like another 2k or a Ripplaw. Ripplaw would be a good reason to play it, I suppose, but if anything, I can do it after I draw from the Rosi Law and have more information. But then we find stage, so I just want to play the stage, get it developed. It's more consistent of a searcher. Find Kobe. I think yeah, it was our. We just don't need third Sokka. Like maybe some games we need third Sokka, but probably not. So let's take the 1k searcher. Probably easier to try and find like I love yous later or something. Another Odin, cause why not? Can't free block, and now I think he just goes 7/7. I'll take, and then I think I just chunk block. The 5k body doesn't really matter. We're gonna Odin to get rid of this anyway. And again, I wasted 2 swings at weenies now, which feels bad. But it also like makes his leader effects targets more awkward, which is kind of the idea. 7/7. Kind of have to decide if we're gonna stay at 1 here, or if we're gonna go to 0. If we stay at 1, we might be. Problem is we have like 4 bricks in our hand, right? So we'll have Borsa 4 bricks if we stay at 1. It's actually like a tough call. It's a bad spot to be in for sure. I'm kind of just gonna base it off what I decide to do and how it plays out. So I decided to stay at 1. Okay. And then I wanted to start Sokka and then stage and see what stage draws so we figure out how much counter we're going to have. Get rid of a second Rosi Law. Get rid of the Mihawk. Go 6/4. I think this is all reasonable. Then we'll get to swing 8 at 6. Play another stage. Find I love you. Cycle another brick. Draw another brick, because why not? I think I agree with all of this, to be honest. He has Beppo. We do end up having a counter with a Borsa, which feels really bad, of course. Here it's 8/8, so we just take the first 8, counter the second one. Get to keep a Borsa. Then I swing 8 of that and it dies instantly, which is pretty good for me. There's actually like, again, options here. He's just so healthy that we kind of have to keep playing the control game and try to stabilize. So I think we basically have to Departure plus Borsa here, like every time. I don't think the play itself was a question. I was kind of just trying to debate where the Dawn should go. But after thinking for a while, long time, I definitely put the down on Sokka, and it's definitely correct. So, see, put the down on Sokka, departure at 5 at 3. It dies 9 at 7. Uh, Gives 2 cards, of course. Trash that. Leader effect. Mama, just to get another Dawn from Sokka. Now we're gonna stage because it'll help filter out the brick. We'll grab a natural 2K. Stage again. We draw another brick, unfortunately. Just too many bricks in a row. We'll keep that in case we can find another Borsa later. It's just unfortunate that we kept drawing all of our bricks, no matter how much we were recycling. He finds Perona. So, like, once he finds that, we're just dead, right? Like, well, I say finds. He has Perona, so he has another way to deal with our blockers, so we can't block. And then he actually goes 8-12. So that basically means he wasn't all inning. If this wasn't a brick, then we could have potentially lived another turn. Which would have been really good, obviously. But we have, like, we're 1K off of being able to counter that. So now we're just dead. He does have another stun, so I guess his plan was to go 8-9, play the stun event on these two. So we have just Sokka. He'll have Chilio plus Perona. We were top decking a Borsa though. So if we're top decking Borsa, that's like a really good top deck, obviously. If we just found a 1K off of like those stage draws instead of like infinite bricks, we could have lived. He would have he would have stunned our stuff, but I actually think we stabilize. Just unfortunate. Like once we take that, he's sending 12 here, right? There's no way he's gonna respect triple 12. I mean, quadruple, like 4 2Ks, right? So that's just honestly, I don't even know. I don't think I even misplayed here. I think just got way too bricked early. This riplog made things awkward. Like it's good, and I think it's still good enough that I'd do it again. But it made it so on 7 we don't have Dawn, and then there's behind Dawn for like a couple more turns, unfortunately. I think this was all mandatory, everything that was done here. Draw. Yeah, we just needed this stage to draw 1K. But it is what it is. Because we stay at 1. Even if he swings 9 out of Sokka, which he might if I go to 0 in hand, I guess. He probably would, right? This wouldn't be able to rest. He stun these and just kill the Sokka and float one. That potty is what would have ended up happening. And then I have 1 Swain plus Boisa. But he has like nothing. He has Perona plus Trilioco or another Cosm. So I just like Boisa plus 1 big Swain at this. And this would be last, so he could save this technically, but then we heal back to 2, assuming our Sokka died. With 2 blockers, and he has 3 swings, no way to get rid of them. And he wouldn't have Perona either, I don't think, because we'd swing 11 at this, right? We'd go Borsa, leader effect stage, Sokka, and go 11. So we'd have to give both in order for this Mihawk to live. So either way, I think if we just draw 1K there, we can stabilize. But yeah, I think I'm happy with how I played that game. I don't think there was too much else to go on there. Just a little bit of low roll from us. Did he actually? I mean, he drew well. I don't think he high rolled insanely, but he definitely drew his curve, right? He went Odin into Mihawk Odin into 9 drop into 10 drop, and then 5 drop for game. So, oh well. On to the next one. Speed it up. Wind dice. Great hand. Get Sokka, Chroma into Rosi into Sokka or Borsa Rip. Borsa Rip is a little nay gone down, but can still be good sometimes. He immediately searches both of his pieces for 6. Mihawk plus Odin, because why not? This Kiku is really annoying. It basically means I'm never going to swing my winnies at his, because he will eventually win that war, and I'd rather have them for Sokka targets. I Kobe first before draw this time, because I still would like to find other searchers and other, specifically stage is what I would like to find. So, Muzulaw draw plus stage. I think it can't be Rosi, just because there's a search and there's a law in there. We have like 3 laws in hand, 2 on board. It should maybe be a Marine Ford though, but I think I decided I'd rather just have the counter. I don't mind my plays that I have for the next couple turns. And I do actually end up swinging my searcher into it, I guess, just because I found another one. It's probably fine. Goes 5. I'll just take. I'm not taking both. What? I think I start 6 in case he wants to take and play into Riplaw, and now it's just Borsa Riplaw. I think this is like 100% to play. Once he takes the 6. If he doesn't take the 6, we probably just Sokka the Mihawk and pass, like with a 5 swing. And probably an argument to do that anyway, to be honest. Just so we don't go Soneg and Don, develop an 8k. And then if anything, we could Riplaw him next turn, probably still. That might be better, to be honest. I think it might be better to just straight up Sokka there still. I think I just decide to block in case, because I'm okay to stay at 3 here if he does do a small swing. Yeah, so when he does stuff like this, I'd rather stay healthy, and that Riplaw is not really going to be able to get in there. So we'd also have Sokka on board here. Like, the game is just entirely different. I think what we did ended up being fine, but I do think Sokka would have just been better last turn. Probably. Then he Mihawk stuns again. It's gotta like survive through the stuns, and then usually as soon as decks like this run out of stun, they die, right? Like as soon as they're out of stun, they're just dead. I actually decided to go 6 at 6 here just to get another card out of hand. I'm not really scared of dying. And he starts 11 at Sokka. Probably just really bad for him, but I think he did it because he felt like he was gonna die for sure, so he needed to hope the Sokka died. From here, it's Mihawk. Tell me my Sokka can't rest. He goes 8 at Boyson. Then once he does this, right, I know my board's restanding, so we're just sending lethal. So we're just protecting this and sending lethal as soon as my board gets to restand. Yeah, so he didn't really have much else he could like. He could have played a blocker law, I guess, unless that was from life. But yeah, I think that was he didn't quite. He had double stun plus curve. Trying to see what exactly went different this game. He won dice. He saw Mihawk Odin on 6. He saw Law Odin on 8. Still probably good enough from him. Into Law. The main thing is there wasn't an intermittent Mihawk on 9. Which we would normally just soccer anyway, to be fair, but still. Then we were just able to be really aggressive. The Whip Law getting cards helped. I still think Sokka on this turn is better, probably. And then just Riplaw him next turn, whether it's Borsa Riplaw or Sokka Riplaw. Um, but yeah, he had double stun even, right? No rest. Do this. He stuns. Again, he stunned. I mean, he had double stun. I think double stun is probably average, right? If they have less, you're lucky. If they have more, they high rolled. Um, so I think that was just like the classic game of we went first and we saw what we needed to, and they didn't omega high roll. They still saw their curve, but they didn't omega high roll. And then the last game. Get lucky, find the promo loss. Now we have our curve. Standard, swing 6, play promo. Just trying to find all his cards. Does all that. This is a spot where this is definitely too many weenies. I'm not going to waste all my swings at these this turn. There might be some argument to do that, but I just don't think I am. So I'm just going to go 6-6 at life. Or 6-7 even. Yeah, once he takes that, I think I just like say fuck it, I'm going 7 and putting you to 2. I think this is better than clearing his weenies and like doing nothing, for sure. We just want to leave this standing for Asaka later. They have the curve, obviously. There's no way they don't by now. Leader affects the 8. Top deck promo law is actually really good. Didn't actually have another play here. It would have just been like Riplaw plus 5-5-6 or like 7-7. But he has 10 in hand, so we go 7. I expect him to give me 2 cards. I don't think he wants to go to 1 quite yet. I go 5. I expect another card, so now he's down to 7. Exactly, which is really good for me. Higher chance to hit good cards out of his hand. Then we go Riplaw, Pumelaw. Got 5 cards out of his hand that turn. Really strong. He once again has Mihawk, not Odin at least, but he does have Perona. Could arguably be better considering I played 2 bodies last turn instead of 1. This tells me I'm not allowed to block instead of like he should maybe just allow a free block. I mean, allow a chunk block here and whatever. But I don't know. So he swings 8 at leader effect, swings 8 again. I'm just gonna block Mama. Don't really need Mama on this board state. Don't even have Sokka. Then 7 at life. Block Mama does mean I take 7. So like arguably once he has 2 Dawn left, I should probably just Mama 2k so I can free block a 7. I think that would have been better. But technically this is like more card advantage. It just means we took a life. Which probably is not necessarily worth it. I think Mama 2k would have been better on the 8 and then just save this to free block the 7. In this spot, he has so little cards in hand. Let's go 6 at it, see if he wants to defend it. He doesn't, so we go 9 at that. dies. Go 6 at life, and I'm just gonna Borsa float 1 pass. Very simple turn. Lon Beppo, again, they're curving out. So we want to chunk block with the law this turn, but we definitely don't do it to a 6. So I'm gonna 2K. He still has leader swing, so I think there's an argument to block 2 that. But I actually decided to block 2 this, so it's kind of the same. I don't actually know what Mihawk lists look like, but they appear to be on like no Luna, just all outs right now, which is good for us, right? It means I got to restand my Borsalino there. How relevant that is, I don't know. That 9 should theoretically be at life, maybe? I think that 9 should be at life. But either way, we clear it. It's cool, I guess. I think it would have been better to hit his life there. Just so we can threaten lethal, just get more cards out of hand to make it more likely he dies next turn. Because if he does have more stuns, like, we might need to end the game next turn. I don't know if that's necessarily the case or true, but like, it could be true sometimes. It's kind of like a question of, do I want to go for game here, or do I play for another turn? If I play for another turn, I'm just gonna block. If I go for game, we're just gonna take. I actually decided to 2-2 and then take. I mean, if I'm going for game, it doesn't really make a difference, I guess. The 2-2 just gives me like the potential to pivot to maybe play another turn based on what we draw and what ends up happening here. So I'm just testing the waters. I go 7. I think taking there is just like a mistake. I don't know what his hand was, but it's like almost definitely a mistake to take. But as soon as he does, I kind of just decide to send it. I have 9-9-9-5. So he has to counter 2 9s and a 5. So that's literally his entire hand, right? Event, 1 card, 2-2-1-1. So he has to have no bricks plus like perfect counter. I don't think it's necessary. I think I could probably play another turn. And that would have been what I decided to do probably if he counters 7. But because he takes, I just decided to send it. It's just so unlikely this deck has no bricks in hand and perfect counter. So I go 9. Technically, 9-9-5 is the same as 7-7-9, I think. 7-7-9 is 2-1-2-1. So I can go 7-7. If he counters both 7s, I could pivot to playing another blocker, have 2 blockers, and maybe live another turn. It would be 7-7. It'd be 7-8-8 actually. Yeah, so I actually messed up the lethal math here. I should go 7-8-8. Yeah, because I go 7. He's not really allowed to block it, right? Because then it's just 7-9 in his math. So 7 is 2-1. And then I go 8-8, and he has to have 2-2. So it should have been 2-2-2-1 that he has to have. Instead, I only made him have 2-2-1-1. So mistake on my part there for sure. It should be 7-7. Should be 7-8-8. But I do think it's correct to send lethal here. Like, I could have had a bunch of blockers and potentially lived. I think I probably would have lived. Um, but he's just so unlikely to have that much counter. He did have the one brick in hand, but again, he just shouldn't have taken the 7. Is the main thing there. Um, but obviously, if he countered the 7, I think I don't think I do send it. I think I probably like Sokka this law and play a promo law or something like that of that nature. It's hard to say. But I think that would have been the line: is Sokka the that play promo law. And then just leave up as many blockers as we can after making sure the law dies. Arguably shouldn't even do the Beppo, because that could just be the swing that we block or take. Arguably should just be Momo. So we just get a body off the board with our leader swing, and then we can float like 3 blockers. But that's if he counters 7. He obviously did not, so yeah. But slightly longer video, but we did speed it up, try to rush through it. I mean, this matchup isn't new. It's just new cards that make it better for them than it used to be. This matchup was always Rosi favorite in the past, but it wasn't free by any means. They could definitely stun your boy to infinite and high roll and win. And it's basically the same now, except they have better odds because of this, mainly because of this Odin. The Mihawk is good too, for pressure, obviously. But this Odin is just insane. The Odin is the main thing that actually lets them pressure me, right? Because it means I don't get the feed block with my Rosi Law. But yeah, you just kind of you just want to get as many cards out of hand, like in general, as like always, like pretty much the game of One Piece. You know, you just want to get all the cards out of the hand because then it makes their plays much more predictable and easier to play around. When they have less cards in hand, it makes math easier, obviously, and everything. So, but yeah, so I'm off Borsa, back to my standard list for now. I think Borsa was fine. I think in some of those games it was okay, but I think in general it could be a skill issue of not knowing the best way to use it. But it feels clunky a lot of the time. Clunks my searches up, and it does make the deck a little bit more bricky. So I'm back to my standard list for now. I did have people asking about Gum Gum Lightning, like always, just because it's even better than it was in this meta. I don't play it obviously, but like into the green, it is theoretically really good. But I still just don't like the card. Um, even for this green deck, because my problem is early. You don't really like have the Dawn to do it. It's too expensive. Even if you have the 2 active Dawn, right? Going deck 2 is just too much. If you do it on like 6 or something, which would be like the quote unquote ideal turn. Um, so after that, I think you basically would need to see it on 8 with Sokka, because then you don't really mind going back to Dawn. I think that would probably be the best turn. You Sokka one of their bodies, get a free clear, and then Lightning the other. And it would be really strong on that turn for sure. But I just look at that as high roll, not necessarily needed, because again, I don't think the matchups are that bad. I think if they high roll and stun a bunch, it just is what it is. Maybe I'll test out one Lightning again. Do what I did with the Borsa, cut one Rosi Searcher. I really don't know what else to cut for testing. You could argue one Law, but then I'm going down to 15 Law targets, and I think this is still a really good one of. I still like 2 Departure. Cutting a Departure for a brick, cutting a 1K for a brick is one thing. Cutting a Departure for a brick is like, it makes the deck a lot more brickier than it was, right? Because Departure just is the opposite of a brick. But again, this card is fine. I think like if you want to play it, there's a lot of cards this deck can play, and it's probably fine. I just don't like it with how I play the deck because I think I really would just want it on that turn, and I don't want to play so. If I don't think you can really fit in more than one or two, so you're just hoping to draw it on that specific turn. The reason I don't mind playing slow and departure is because they're good. Like there's a variety of turns where these cards are good later, and they're so strong that it's normally fine to keep them in your hand even if they're in there from the beginning of the game. Um, Whereas lightning, I just don't feel like it's worth having it as a break in your hand all game for that one specific turn. But yeah, so I mean, if you like the card, obviously play it how you want. I've always said lists are a small part of this game. It is mainly how you play, and everyone plays differently, so your list should be built to how you play. Um, but yeah, that is that. Any questions? Leave them in the comments. Like I said, I'm trying to get Yellow Kid and Red Green Luffy and anything else that I come across. Still trying to find a Boa game, a Mir, good Yamato game. If we run into any of those, I'll try to record those. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Comments and questions and comments, and peace.